Okay, so in the last video, we talked about the differences between the academic IELTS, the general training IELTS, all four papers, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So today, I want to talk about the speaking module and also tie that up, in fact, tie that into the speaking lessons that the Word Craft Cafe has to offer to the students. So let's begin with a breakdown of what the speaking module actually looks like. So let's talk about it. Okay, so let's see, what's a good color? Okay, let's do blue. Fine. Okay. So let's talk about the speaking module. Hmm. First of all, there are two ways to take this exam. You can have a face-to-face interview with the examiner, or you can have a Zoom interview. There are times when you have an option, and there are times when you don't have an option. It depends on the availability of the examiners at the time. So the only thing that I would say to watch out for that in the Zoom interview, sound quality and the internet connection. Make sure at all times that the examiner can hear you. Keep checking with the examiner. Can you hear me properly? Um, is my voice glitching? Please let me know if my voice glitches and I'll repeat myself immediately because these are almost always going to happen. So keep checking in with the examiner. Okay, here you should be fine. Now, whenever you register for the exam, let's just say your exam is registered for, let's say, the 15th of March. Sometimes you will have an option and you can take the speaking exam at, say, 10 a.m. And then maybe by 1 p.m., your listening, reading, writing exam takes place. Or sometimes you'll have the listening, reading, writing exam at 10 a.m. and then maybe 3 p.m. you'll have the speaking exam, right? And it varies. So these days, what we've noticed that the speaking exam is being conducted on the exact same day. All right. There used to be a time when the speaking exam could be taken a day earlier, a day later, but given the number of applicants, we're witnessing this that the speaking exam is being conducted on the exact same day, right? So keep take that into account that it is going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day, but depends on where you take it. I think for the British Council, I think all exams are being held in Garden Town, in that college, Scans College in Lahore. And the IDP has, I think, one or two various centers, but I'm not sure. If you look at the if you go to the website of IDP, you should be able to get that information there. But yeah, all exams are taking place on the same day these days. It's rare now that you're going to have the speaking exam on a separate day altogether. Okay, with that, let's move on to the format of the speaking exam and what you're required to do, what you're not required to do. So, in the exam, you have three sections. You have a section one, you have a section two, you have a section three. Now, remember, when you walk into the examination room, you obviously will be anxious. Who wouldn't be, for God's sakes? Even a native speaker is going to be anxious because an exam is an exam, a test is a test, right? Okay, and remember, the examiner knows that you're anxious. All right, they already know, so they have been trained to help you feel as comfortable as possible. So you're going to find the examiners smiling, they'll be talkative, and they'll be very, very encouraging. So please don't worry about it. The examiners are not your enemies, they want you to try and speak well. So go in thinking that you're going to have a semi formal talk with a stranger, all right, where you're going to get to know them and they're going to get to know you. So that should take the anxiety off just a little bit, right? So you go in, they're going to ask for ID. And what ID? The same ID that you entered in your registration form. If you used your passport ID, please take your passport with you. If you used your CNIC, if you used your CNIC number, please take that with you. So whichever ID number you put in there, whether it was CNIC or whether it were, or a passport, please take that document with you at all times for your identification. So once the identification match is completed, she's going to ask you to sit down. He or she will introduce themselves, and they'll ask you to introduce yourself, and you can tell them this is my name, and I've come from this part of Lahore, and I'm feeling a little anxious or I'm feeling good today. Right now, the exam has not begun. She's just trying to get you to calm your nerves, okay? So when he or she says, okay, now let's begin section one of the speaking test, that means now you are being tested, okay? So in section one, we call this the general introduction, all right? You can relax here. Why? She knows you're, like I said, she knows you're anxious or he knows you're anxious. He wants you to calm down here. He wants you to calm down, which means this is, in other words, this is what we call the icebreaker. So he's going to ask you some very, very general questions about yourself, extremely general, the kind that you can answer so easily. Why? Because all those questions are going to be about you. Now, what are those questions going to be like? Let's have a quick look at that. So she's going to speak these questions, but just for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to write it down. So one question could be, where do you live? It could be, do you live in a house or in a flat? It could be, are you a student or do you work? Anything. So do you realize there's absolutely nothing technical about any of these three questions? And okay, fine. Maybe if you want to make it more technical, she'll say something like, "Oh, that's a lovely outfit. Where do you usually buy your clothes from?" So easy. Number five, she could say, "Do you have any hobbies?" Do you realize how easy these questions are? They're designed to talk about you, talk about your life. So simple. And here's what you have to do for each question. Please extend your answer. Please, please extend your answer. Do not say, "I live in Model Town. I live in a house. I'm a student. I buy my clothes from, I don't know, Liberty Market. Do you have any hobbies?" Yes, I do. If you answer like that, for God's sakes, you're not even going to get a band 5. They want to test your English language. How do you expect them to test your English language if you're not going to speak it? If you don't give them more sentences, if you don't show off what kind of sentences you can make or the kind of vocabulary that you can use. If you don't show off how strong your grammar is, how do you expect them to give you a band 7 or a band 8 or a band 6 for that matter? So you must show off your language skills by giving extensive answers. So one line answers, two line answers is not going to be enough. Short answers, no way, Jose. You cannot do this to yourself. Okay. Now, this is only section one. Section one is the icebreaker, so you are bound to make mistakes because obviously everyone's nervous, right? That's perfectly fine. But do keep this thing in mind that when you move from the section from this section to the next one, that is when the real deal begins. In section 2 and section 3, they are not going to be so lenient. In section 1, yes, maybe. Not in section 2. You've got to be dreaming if you think that in section 2 they're going to take it easy on you. They're not. In section 1, feel free to make all the mistakes you want. 2 and 3, you've got to solidify those. All right. Now, most importantly, what do the examiners want from you? Most importantly, oh dear, how do you erase this? Okay, let's see, maybe this will do it. I can't see it. Okay, so how are you being marked? The first thing they're looking at, fluency and coherence. Do you speak full sentences? The examiner is listening for it. Do you pause? Are the pauses long or are the pauses short? If the pauses are short, that's good. If the pauses are long, oh, no, man. No, 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 no. Then, are you struggling to look for vocabulary? Are you struggling to look for the appropriate grammar? The harder they see your struggles, the lower your band goes. The more effortless you are, the higher your band score goes. Okay. Coherence means please speak with an open mouth. So like every word is coming out of my mouth clearly. Please don't speak like this. But if you speak like this, it's going to be very difficult for people. So if you speak like that, the demonstration that I just did, if you speak like this, if you don't open your mouth enough, open your mouth so that they can understand you. And secondly, slow down. If you ever have to speak a little, do not do that. Please do not do that. I work in a call center and I've been there for a little. Do not do that. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So speak with an open mouth and please, please, please slow down. They must be able to understand you. They have to be able to understand every word coming out of your mouth. Otherwise, you can say bye bye to band 6 even. Okay, so fluency and coherence, it matters a lot. Let's move on to the next marker, and I need more space. Let's see. Let's get some more space. Okay. So fluency and coherence. The next thing that they are looking at is lexical resources. Now, what are lexical resources? Yes, it's just vocabulary. But what kind of vocabulary? They want to see if you can use uncommon words. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We want the fancy vocabulary. Yes, I've heard that from many students that they've learned it from Academy ABC. They learned it. They were told this rule by tutor XYZ. Yes, yes, yes. Fine. Uncommon words and idiomatic expressions. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Why not? But here's the thing. Here's what you guys are missing. The examiners want to look at variety and they want to look at natural conversational features. Now, what does that mean? It means can you talk to them like you talk to people in everyday life? Which means if you're going to talk as if you talk to people in everyday life, do you use phrasal verbs? Because this is considered to be casual language. Phrasal verbs. Do you use a nice synonym range? And trust me, the simpler your vocabulary, and the wider your range of synonyms, you stand a chance of doing much better than the people who are squeezing in all these big words, all these big idioms, and they're using them incorrectly and it's sounding forced. If it sounds forced, uh, it's not going to look good. So it's better if you use simple words, but a lot of different kinds of simple words, everyday casual phrasal verbs like we eat out, we hang out, that will give you a better chance. A better chance. So if this is forced, then forget it. But if you can make all of this sound natural, if you can make all of that sound natural, hello, we're going into band 7 already. But because a lot of students are unfortunately forcing themselves to use these terms, so it's not really coming down to this. It's not looking good. So if you are struggling with vocabulary, please, please, please stick to this, right? Okay, let's move on. So we've done fluency and coherence, lexical resource. Now let's talk about the third thing the examiners are looking at: pronunciation features. Most importantly, clarity. Are you pronouncing it correctly? So if there is a word like, I don't know, Christmas. I've heard students say Christmas, Christmas. Oh gosh, don't do that. Or if there's a word like, I don't know, like maybe this. A lot of students are saying Mayer, Mayer. It's not Mayer, it's measure. It's zh, like a vacuum cleaner sound. Measure. So you make mistakes like that and you're going down the pronunciation ladder, right? And if you put on a fake accent, nothing's wrong with it, but if you notice, at least we've noticed, students who like to put on a fake American accent or a fake call center accent, a lot of the time you are mispronouncing words because of that accent. And when you mispronounce words, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And most importantly, when you're putting on the accent, we can't understand you. So what happens? Your coherence takes a hit. So you make a mess of this section as well. So please lose the accent. You don't need it. You absolutely don't need it. Take your original accent into the exam. You will not be given more credit for trying to sound like a native. If you can just be accurate and you can communicate effectively and get your ideas across, you're good to go. Oh, and one more thing that I forgot about, influency. Sorry. Let me put that down here. They're looking for linking words. Linking words. You can call them connectors, you can call them introductory expressions. Linking words like so, however, to be honest, actually, Furthermore, so they're looking for words like that. They don't have to be big ones like however. They can be easy, casual kinds, actually, to be honest. Well, so they're looking for these linkers. Okay, and the last thing, oh dear. Oh gosh, this is where everyone struggles, and this is where we struggle as well because there's no time to teach grammar. But I'm going to tell you what solution the Wordcraft Cafe has for you. And grammar, obviously, accuracy. So whether they are tenses, whether they are articles, whether they are modifiers, conditionals, anything, use them correctly. And if you're not using them correctly, then over here our students are going as low as 4, especially those who are not comfortable with the language. We cannot afford this because if you get a 4, I'll tell you how that impacts the rest of your band. Secondly, they want a variety. They want to see a variety in sentence structures. What does that mean? This is heavy duty grammar. And how can we help you? I will tell you in a bit. First of all, let me tell you how you are now evaluated. So when you are speaking, the examiner, obviously, whatever you're saying is being recorded, right? And then they always listen to it later on. And they are first going to listen for fluency, then they're going to listen for lexical resource, then for pronunciation features, and then for grammar. So, say you are very fluent and you use nice connectors and you spoke effortlessly and relatively effortlessly, and she decides to give you a 6. Lexical resource, your language, your word bank was fairly simple, but it had nice variety. Maybe she'll give you a 6 on this. And say your pronunciation features were faulty. Maybe she'll give you a 5. And say in grammar, you were just about okay. It was basic, it wasn't too accurate, but it wasn't too faulty either. But it was enough that she could understand you. She could understand what you were trying to convey to her. So maybe she'll give you a 5. So now you've got 4 scores here. They are going to take an average. So 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5, and then divided it by 4. So this should give you basically an overall 5.5. But keep one thing in mind. This they will do at the end of the speaking test, right? So whether it is section 1, section 2, or section 3, they're going to hear all of it. They're going to hear all of it, and then they're going to give you a score on each. All right, so that is how you are evaluated in the speaking exam. Now, what can Wordcraft Cafe do for you? As you can see, vocabulary is a pretty heavy section, and grammar is terribly, terribly heavy. What does the Wordcraft Cafe have to offer? When we are teaching IELTS, we have a 2-hour lesson for listening, reading, and writing. And then on the same day, we have a 1-hour lesson just dedicated to speaking. Just dedicated to speaking. And what does this 1-hour lesson include? It includes vocabulary building. It includes fluency practice, and you will be practicing in groups with the instructor and with your classmates. A lot of group work is done in these sessions, and most importantly, every time there is a major grammar issue, you will be given not just a grammar review, a functional grammar review, the kind of grammar that you get wrong while you are speaking on a daily basis. These three are crucial elements of the speaking module, and this is part of our IELTS package. So, in effect, every day, 4 days, so 4 days a week, we study. And each day we study 3 hours. It's split into two different lessons. You have a different instructor here, and you have a different instructor here, both very experienced, near native speakers, and you're in very good hands. And on the fifth day, we conduct a mock exam on a test software, and one of our instructors acts like a, did not say dummy examiner, but yeah, a dummy examiner, pretending to be an examiner, and you are put into the same examination conditions and you are tested. And we give you detailed feedback, and potential score range. So we'll tell you that if you do very badly, you could go as low as a 5. And if you stick to all the instructions and you're feeling good that day, maybe you'll go as high as a 6. So we'll always give you a range that this is where you stand. So there are chances of, if you mess up, you go this low. If you don't mess up, you can come here. So we'll always give you a very, very realistic assessment of where you stand. So this is speaking section 1. In my next video, I'm going to do speaking section 2 with you, and I'll tell you what the examiners are expecting you to do, and for God's sakes, what not to do in speaking section 2. And remember, all these instructions, all this practice is looked after in our speaking lessons at Wordcraft Cafe. And whether you are an IELTS student or not, even regular people who just want conversation practice can benefit from these speaking classes being held at Wordcraft Cafe. So if you're a spoken English student, we have two levels. We have spoken English for beginners, and we have spoken English for intermediate users. And the intermediate users are the ones who are paired with the IELTS speaking students. So you've got the regular speaking students, ESL students, and they can be paired with the IELTS students in this one. For beginners, it's just ESL students in the beginners lessons. And for anyone who's interested, we are also teaching English language to kids. That is a third package that we are offering. Okay, so this is enough for today's video. In the next video, I'm going to talk about speaking section 2. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.